Lesson 3-2, Example 2. Our objective is learning to estimate decimal sums, differences, products, and quotients. And sometimes when you're estimating numbers, you'll need to estimate it to a certain place value. Sometimes that place value will be stated, other times you'll get to decide on your own, but oftentimes you're making a decision as to where you're going to round it off. So let's take a look at this problem here. We have 7 and 13/100ths adding to 4 and 68/100ths, and we want to round it to the nearest whole, or the nearest one. You can also think of this as the nearest whole. Just another way of saying ones there. So this is the place value that I want to round to. So I can think of this as what's the closest whole. So for this one we have 7 and 13/100ths. I want to think, is this closer to 7 or is it closer to 8? Well, 13/100ths, that's just a little piece there of another whole. This is closest to 7. 4 and 68/100ths, well, for 68/100ths, that's getting pretty close to that next whole number, which is 5. So I can round that up to 5. And so now I have two whole numbers to work with, a lot easier. 7 plus 5, and I come up with 12. So my estimate for these two numbers, this is about 12. Let's take a look at another one. Here we have 9 and 705 thousandths and 0 and 2,683 ten thousandths. And we want to look and we want to round this off to the nearest tenth. So this number right here, that's where we're going to be rounding to. So let's take a look first of all at this number here. Well, 9 and 705 thousandths. I want to know the nearest tenth. Well, let's see how many hundredths I have. I don't have any hundredths at all. I have a 5 thousandths, which is a really small little bit of piece of number. So this tenths isn't really next tenth is being broken down into very small pieces. So it's really close to 9 and 7/10. We're going to round this down to 9 and 7/10. 2,683 ten thousandths. Well, we're going to look over here at this number, and again, looking at that hundredths place, and see how many hundredths we have. Well, we have 6 hundredths. That's getting pretty close up to that next tenth, which would be 3/10. So we're going to round this off up to 3/10. So now we have 9 and 7/10, subtracting 3/10. And if I want to look at it a different way, I can line up my decimals. This can help make it a little easier to see sometimes. And I'm coming down. My decimal point comes straight down, and 9 minus 0 is 9. So we're rounding off, we end up with 9 and 4/10. So my estimate here for this whole thing is about 9 and 4/10. So we're looking at rounding to specific place value.